So you might recall that we talked about the cosine rule last week, and we derived and proved that cosine of alpha minus beta is cosine alpha cosine beta minus sine alpha sine beta. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Okay, no questions with how we did that, yes?
Yeah.
All right, so last week we spent time on doing that, and we won't do that again this week. So we will now just assume this result. Having said that, that's not the only relationship I want. How do we get cosine of alpha plus beta?
Maybe we can just do in the same way.
You mean like draw out the, circle and, do all of that again?
Yeah.
Is that what you mean? Well, we probably could, but I don't really want to. That obviously took a little bit of time, and we kind of prefer more efficient methods. So any ideas on how perhaps we might be able to use this as a hint?
Also, just change the minus to plus.
What do you mean? But how would we do that?
I don't really know, but
Actually, it's not as hard as you think, right? Because cosine alpha minus beta, this is just any angle, right?
yeah.
So let me rewrite the identity. So we agree that the identity of cosine, let's call it x minus y, is cosine x, cosine y, minus sine x, sine y. And this works for any x and y, right?
Yeah.
So if I want to work out cosine of alpha plus beta, could I perhaps write it as cosine of something minus something? Could I write it as something minus something, which would be alpha plus beta? Or in other words, what would be the result of alpha plus beta? Would give that result?
So it's alpha minus alpha, minus beta. Oh no, it's minus negative beta.
Right. See, this is still alpha plus beta, right?
Yeah.
Nothing has changed, right?
Yeah.
So this is basically our y, and this is basically our x. Given that, can we expand this?
Sorry?
Given this, we can now expand this, can't we?
Yeah. So it's just cosine alpha, cosine beta plus. Oh, yeah. And sine alpha, sine negative.
Now, you may have already done the work based on what you're saying. So now we rely on what we covered last week as well. How do we do cosine of negative beta?
So it should be positive cosine beta.
Right. So that would just become positive cosine beta. And what would sine negative beta become?
It's just minus sine beta.
So of course, that then just becomes this. And you can see that this is much, because we already did the work before,
yeah.
This is now much faster, right?
Yeah.
So in other words, at this point in time, we now will have cosine of alpha plus beta equals cosine alpha cosine beta plus sine alpha sine beta.
Yes.
Great. So that's how we do that.
Yeah.
All right. So the next question we're going to now consider is how are we going to get let's go with sine alpha, let's go with plus beta. So this is the question I want you to consider now.